Alabama has put together a special season that has been a roller coaster for fans. After an early season loss to Texas and a test against USF, the Crimson Tide would go undefeated in SEC play and upset Georgia in the SEC championship game, ending their run for a third straight national championship. Alabama would make the college football playoff as the 4 seed and will look to prove the committee right with that decision when they take on Michigan in the Rose Bowl. This is how Alabama made the college football playoff. This is the Road to the Playoff Alabama edition. But before we get into this, if you enjoy college football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I plan to release a video every day from now until Christmas. Also, let me know if you think the committee got the rankings right, and who wins the national title in the comment section below. Going into the 2023 season, the 17th year under head coach Nick Saban, the Crimson Tide arrived with a bad taste in their mouth after a disappointing 2022 season. They missed the college football playoff for the second time since the start of the playoff era, and missed out on playing former Alabama assistant Kirby Smart and Georgia in the SEC title game. They would win the Sugar Bowl 45-20 over Kansas State, but saw their rivals Georgia win their second straight national title after demolishing TCU in the title game. Gone was Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Bryce Young, who went first overall in the 2023 NFL Draft, and in came Jalen Milroe and a brand new offensive coordinator in Notre Dame's Tommy Rees. They entered the season with an over-under 10.5 wins, and Nick Saban entered the season mad, feeling like Alabama should not have missed the playoffs due to their close losses to Tennessee and LSU, the latter of which kept them out of the SEC title game. If they wanted to make it back to the college football playoff this year, it meant they would need to improve on their power run game from 2022. They still averaged 41 points per game and 477 yards per game, but they were not the same vintage Bama team from the past. Jalen Milroe entered the season in a quarterback battle with Notre Dame transfer Tyler Buchner and former 5-star recruit Ty Simpson, but he was the favorite to win the job and did just that. Simpson would deal with an elbow injury and fell to third on the depth chart behind the aforementioned Milroe and Buchner. Milroe would win the job, and it looked like he would be having some great players to throw to, with Jermaine Burton and Ja'Cory Brooks both returning. They brought in JUCO transfer Malik Benson and hoped Isaiah Bond could step up as one of the younger wide receivers. They looked to have a good offensive line, but lost a lot when it came to the run game. Jace McClellan and Roydell Williams looked to be major parts of bringing back the physical run game, and more involvement of Milroe in the run game at quarterback was expected due to him being more built for it than Young. On defense, the key to success was going to be playing more consistent and taking advantage of opposing teams' mistakes. The most important player their inside linebackers Deontay Lawson and Georgia transfer Tresman Marshall were also expected to come up big when it came to stopping the run. Jaheim Oates was expected to star on the defensive line, headlining a strong unit. Kool-Aid McKinstry was also viewed as a leader on the defense, headlining a secondary that looked to have more than 6 interceptions this season. The fact that they were hosting Tennessee and LSU this season meant they were favorites to win the SEC West. Alabama opened up the season with a dominant win over Middle Tennessee, 56-7, with Milroe showing off both his arms and his legs, finishing with 242 total yards and 4 total touchdowns. Both Buchner and Simpson would also get some playing time as well. Alabama then hosted future SEC opponent Texas, falling to the Longhorns 34-24, having multiple opportunities to win the game, but were unable to stop the Longhorns at the end of the game, as they would run out the final 7 minutes. Milroe accounted for 299 total yards and threw for 2 touchdowns. The following week, the Crimson Tide traveled on the road to take on South Florida and Tampa. This game provided the Tide a great opportunity to bounce back coming into the game as 34-point favorites, and the Bulls only winning 5 games going back to the 2020 season. The offensive line struggled early in the season, allowing 12 sacks in 3 games at that point of the season, and it led to USF finding themselves in the game late during a rainy day in Tampa. The two went into half tied 3-3, and Buchner would be benched for Simpson. Sports Illustrated's Austin Hannon wrote after the game, after starting off 0-for-4, Simpson completed his final 5 passes and led Alabama to its only 2 scoring drives. He was sacked 5 times, but when Saban challenged the offensive line to hold on to the ball the rest of the game, they finally stepped up. Dallas Turner and the Alabama defense finally showed how aggressive they could be, with Turner recording 2.5 sacks after they failed to sack Texas's Quinn Ewers the previous week. The Tide also returned to the power run game on offense, with McClellan and Williams finishing with a combined 203 yards on the ground. Alabama was able to survive with the 17-3 win. Heading into SEC play, there were a lot of questions surrounding the quarterback position, which was glorified with Milroe not getting any playing time against USF, yet was seen on the sideline hyping up his team throughout the game. Saban told the media, "We have the SEC coming up next week, and obviously we have things to fix, and we'll work on it." Alabama responded with a dominant win over Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, which saw Milroe return to the starting quarterback job, throwing for 225 yards, a touchdown and an interception, but was also sacked 4 times. McClellan also rushed for 105 yards and a touchdown on 17 carries. The following week, they demolished Mississippi State 40-17 on the road and went into an important game against Texas A&M at 4-1. A&M would score first with 5:34 left in the first quarter with a field goal, and Alabama would respond with a field goal of their own. Milroe found Isaiah Bond on a 52-yard passing touchdown to give the Tide their first lead of the game. After a 46-yard punt return by Aniyah Smith, Max Johnson would find his brother Jake to tie the game at 10. Texas A&M would put together a 5-minute and 38-second drive, capped off with a Le'Veon Moss touchdown, with the halftime score being 17-10 Aggies. But that would be the last touchdown A&M would have the rest of the game, as the Tide's defense held them to 3 points with 2:11 left in the game. The Tide, on the other hand, would put up 16 points in the second half. Milroe found Burton on a 15-yard passing touchdown before the end of the third, and the two would connect again on a 19-yard score. Alabama would also force a safety as well to escape College Station with the 26-20 win. The following week, they survived a late surge by a 2-4 Arkansas to escape with a 24-21 win. They would avenge their 2022 losses to Tennessee and LSU, beating both by a combined score of 76-48, and blew out Kentucky 49-21, going to their cupcake matchup against Chattanooga. They beat Chattanooga 66-10, went into the Iron Bowl with their college football playoff hopes still alive, but it seemed unlikely at the time. Alabama scored first on the Roydell Williams 2-yard run to cap off an 8-play 69-yard drive. Auburn responded with a touchdown of their own to end the first quarter, tied up at 7. Auburn took their first lead of the game on a Javarius Johnson 12-yard touchdown with 2:24 left in the half, before Milroe found Burton on a 68-yard passing touchdown, going to half up 17-14. Alabama started the second half with a field goal before Auburn to take the lead with a score with a 27-yard touchdown run by Johnson. Heading into the fourth quarter, I texted my friends Scott Fisher and Cole Adams that I felt Alabama was going to figure a way to win this game, even when the game seemed out of their control. After a muff punt by Auburn with 4:48 left in the game, it gave the Tide an opportunity to win the game. Alabama got themselves down to Auburn's 8, but after an 18-yard loss and an illegal forward pass, they found themselves backed up with a 4th and goal from the 31. Their playoff hopes were on life support until Milroe found Bond in the back of the end zone, scored their game-winning touchdown to escape the Iron Bowl with a 27-24 win. The next test would be the toughest of the season, playing number 1 Georgia in the SEC title game. Georgia struck first on a 17-yard Kendall Milton run, before Alabama took a 17-7 lead into half after Milroe found Jamarian Miller on a 28-yard passing touchdown and a 15-yard passing touchdown to Burton with 48 seconds left in the half. Alabama went into the fourth quarter up 20-10, but Georgia pulled themselves back into the game with the score by quarterback Carson Beck. Alabama responded with a 4.5-minute drive with Williams scoring to cap off the drive with a touchdown. Georgia responded with a touchdown of their own, but Alabama would hold on to win 27-24. Alabama went into the final college football playoff rankings sitting at number 8, would jump to 4th, knocking undefeated Florida State out of the playoff, with them being without star quarterback Jordan Travis. Alabama was a controversial choice and something I was not a fan of, but I can understand the argument of why they got in. It just bothers me that an undefeated Power 5 conference champion that beat LSU more than Bama didn't get in, and it just didn't sit right with me. But Alabama was coming off a huge win over Georgia and won the SEC. They will take on Michigan in the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day at 5 p.m. Eastern. But what do you think? Did the committee get it right, and who wins the national title? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more college football content. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.